exams, but to improve their abilities to guide the teaching and the learning process in their schools. So within our directorate, we are looking in this area of developing modules, and I think the comments that I have received now reinforces our efforts. We know that there is need for us to go one step further and see how we can assist our teachers more. It's absolutely good about the project planning, and yes, we have started. As I said, I've gone to a school and I found, yes, about dustbins. I have seen egg trays, I have seen liquid soap, and so on and so forth. I think this, to me, this is a good start. It is also now calling upon us as the teachers, the head teachers and the teachers. How do we take it up? How do we encourage our children to now, the next lot should not now be thinking about making liquid soap just. Perhaps we can go on to something else. And I like the idea that, as I have had, that can we encourage industry to look into the ideas that schools are coming up with and see if there is something that can be taken up. And a student can patent and some factory or something, or comes up and develops these products at a commercial level. Because this is the kind of thing we are aiming at. And these countries that we mentioned who have developed, the first time I went to Singapore, the hotel I was staying in put me on floor 13. 13 is supposed to be an unlucky number, so it is 12. It was 12A. Effectively, it was 13, but to make me comfortable, they called the room 12A, not 13. And I looked out of the window and saw the skyline. And we are told, you will hear that at independence, Uganda and Singapore were at the same level of development. So I asked myself, what then went wrong in Uganda? Of course, we probably know the history, the very turbulent history that we have had. Yeah, but this is how we can push some of our ideas from our learners forward. There is the issue of the fees defaulters. That is an interesting one. I'm imagining that, I don't have a solution to that, but I'm imagining that your CA activities are continuous, just like the name. So if I have not been assessed on something, I don't get the score. And at the end of the term, my total scores or my percentage scores would be less by what I did not do. I will have something, but it will not be 20 like somebody who has consistently done very well. So that at the end of the period when the school is supposed to submit my percentage score, I should not be rated as if I have been present throughout. That is my thinking. That if you're keeping records, and we saw about records, constant, continuously, you will see gaps, and when eventually you compute the final percentage out of 20, you will know that this fees defaulter in this subject only can get a maximum of 5 out of 20, and that is the score that you would submit. If they have done nothing at all, you would submit a score of 0, because that is, they have not done what it is that you want them to do. Because if you have to try and design a program that takes care of the fees defaulter who has been absent for 1 week, another one absent for 1 month, we are going to end into a lot of trouble. The different learners. Yes, Teacher Grace, I hope that is your name. Yes. You came up with very, very beautiful ideas. We cannot prescribe, on on stone, like the 10 Commandments that we know, that Moses gave, they are written on stone. But it must vary. Your process, the techniques that you use will vary in accordance with the kind of skills or knowledge that you want. If you are doing a chemistry or physics, there is some skill that has to be demonstrated by hand. If it is biology, you want some skills that the candidates or the learners can demonstrate by hand. For example, dissection and so on and so forth. You cannot say, let's have this person because he is very eloquent, let him come and talk about dissection. And then we say, okay, I think he knows about dissection. Because at the end, you don't mind whether your doctor can speak very fluently or not. But you want a doctor whose hands will not cut your veins, will cut you up and, stitch you back, and you walk out alive. He may be a stammerer, he may not be able to speak, but he is very good. And we want to assess and say, although this doctor speaks very well and cannot speak well, the skills of dissection and other aspects of his work, he is on top of his game. When he's in the theater, he's not going to make a speech. He's just going to work on you. So you want that. Now these other persons who are very eloquent, we also have areas that we will pick out their strengths, and they come out. And this fellow is extremely eloquent, and you probably say, well, he is going to become maybe those areas that require a lot of eloquence in speaking, like my neighbor here, advocate of the High Court. You have to be extremely eloquent. Even when you know you are telling lies, you must tell them. So that you have a mix of learners. And I want to believe that you're going to use your different techniques that you have mentioned, quizzes, oral presentations, practicals, and it is good to encourage the candidates to do that self-assessment. I like that idea. Although I think I know, but I think there is still something that I still would wish my teacher to help me to get better. So if you can do that, you have the time to do that. I hope you do, and you should. You will have helped your learners quite a bit. Now on the online tools, yes, our Directorate of Technology and Reprographics, I have a team of young, very enthusiastic software engineers. We gather information like I have had. I'm going to go back and call the director in my office and I say, you know what, I have had this and this and these proposals. Can you sit down with your team and translate what I have had into technology that can help? That's how we have built up slowly. We hear the needs out there, and now you say we have an online tool, you can check your registration and so on and so forth, and we'll be able to build on top of that, to also put in more online tools that can help us as teachers, head teachers, and even the learners and the parents. The continuous assessment, these activities are supposed to start right from senior one in all the subjects, because as we have said, the purpose of continuous assessment is not per se the 20% we are looking at. The purpose for this is to help us, the teachers, to evaluate, make an assessment and evaluate the success of our teaching learning process. I am facilitating as a teacher, I'm a facilitator. I have done A, B, C, D with my class. I want to know, has any change taken place in the learners, in their behaviors, in what they're able to do and what they know. So when we do that assessment, I get the information based on the scores that they are getting. Then from that, we can plan remediation. As I said in my earlier remarks, I know which child needs help. Then I also know which child needs what kind of help. So that is the whole essence of CA. Now, because CA is now going to contribute a percentage of the total marks, UNEB, we have said, we will take the continuous assessments from senior 3 and 4 for the purpose of grading. But we are not downplaying CA in the lower classes. In fact, we had asked for money to be allowed to train the senior 1 and 2 teachers, because last time we came around, we concentrated on senior 3 and senior 4 teachers. But unfortunately, we have not been given that money. We don't know how we're going to handle that now. Why there is no PE at UACE, I want to plead ignorance about this. The reason, because our job is to assess the curriculum, which is done by the National Council for National Curriculum Development Center. They are the ones that will bring us and say, PE, the menu for UACE, there is no PE. It is not in my mandate to walk to the director's office and ask, why haven't you included PE in the UACE menu? And of course, there are also other subjects that you know are not there at UACE. And there are subjects at UACE like economics, which are not at UCE. So I imagine there could be a reason, but unfortunately I'm not qualified to tell you why PE is not at UACE. But it is a useful thing for the learners to acquire the skills. We know how important it is to be physically fit, to know, to learn games, and so on and so forth. UACE and continuous assessment. My colleagues, I want to tell you that the UACE curriculum is very much work in progress. What you have now is not actually the final product you should be having at UACE. What the Curriculum Development Center has done is to look at the content, reduce where they think there was too much content, like those of you who teach biology, you will find a lot of stuff has been removed. To remove what they say are overlaps, so that you don't meet this concept in geography, you meet it in biology, you meet it somewhere else, we leave it in one of the areas. So that is what they have successfully done. I don't know whether I should say successfully, but that's what they have done so far. We are now, actually for the last 2-3 months, my team, the examinations development staff, have been in very intense workshops with the NCDC staff, subject specialists. So it is work in progress. In fact, the center imagines that we will come out with a proper curriculum for USCE maybe in another 3 years from now. What we did not do right perhaps is after we had reformed, we had changed the curriculum at the UCE level, we should have immediately embarked on that. But it was a combination of lack of funds and other issues. So the issue of CA, until I hear from the powers that be, I cannot pronounce myself, but I do not think we will be able to collect CA for USCE for the current senior 5 going onwards. But stay tuned. And the USC now, I'm told there is a mixture of some of those who did the old curriculum and those who came through the new curriculum. And I was, as I said, on Sunday, I interacted with a group of senior 5 students from the school near where I stay. I had very, very beautiful conversation with them. So I asked them, how do you find the transitioning from the curriculum you had at UCE to what you are doing now? And they said, yes, in some subjects, the transition is a bit smooth. But in others, like chemistry, and then they gave me another one, the approach is exactly the old, and we are finding challenges because the approaches we had at UCE are very different from what we are now meeting. So you can see, as I said, it is still work in progress. Some subjects, the National Curriculum Development Center has been able to make it a little smoother. But in some subjects, it's like you are in the lift and power goes off and then you drop from wherever you are down to wherever floor where it stops you. So it's a shock in some of the subjects. But one beautiful thing about Uganda is that we are very resilient. The teachers in this country are extremely resilient. The people who handle our schools as head teachers are extremely resilient. The children we teach are also very resilient. So I think somehow we shall cope until help comes and finds us, wherever we shall be. Now the equating the results, the translation, we are trying through this division, I said, is in the, we call it the consultancy division in the Directorate of Research and Development, to set up our own translation services. We have some experts in many of the languages. We have people who are fluent in French, fluent in German, fluent in Chinese, fluent in Kiswahili. So we are trying to set up our own translation so that it is a one-stop center. You come with your documents, we are able to translate, and then the people who are doing equating can now read what has been translated in the language that they understand and give the equation of the results. However, that has not quite taken off yet, so we still have to do what we've been doing in the past, send you to the Institute of Languages at Makerere University. They are the recognized translators. I regret that perhaps they are not doing as good a job as they should do. That gives us the impetus now to hurry up and set our consultancy so that we can start doing our translation sooner than later. I hope the camel driver has done his best. I can now hand back to the professor. And as I said, I'm a little constrained by time. I know you still have another presentation that is also very, very similar to what we have listened to. Perhaps we will continue more about the discussion. I will seek your permission to leave. The gentleman who was happy to see me in hard copy, I hope you are not disappointed. That the hard copy and the soft copy are very similar. So I beg that you allow me to leave you in the very capable hands of the area supervisor, the head teacher, and our presenter. I think it's been a very enriching morning hearing from you. That's what I have done.
Thank you very much, our dear ED and our facilitator. We are aware we are still proceeding with you. I was impressed when I had the hard copy and the soft copy. And Director, I would like to request you, before you move out for other engagements, many of these people who have been seeing you through a soft copy would like to have the photo moment with you. It is within the mandate of the facilitator to guide us on where best, in order not to disorganize the presentation, but you can have them in segments here, so that this becomes a very good background, and then we take in different segments. As I said earlier, the director spoke very many words here. We captured them, and we have been streaming live on our YouTube and the other internal platforms. I would like to tell my colleagues here that whoever is interested in those links, they are available. Find comfort in sharing with our PR team. You take them, because some of them can even use them later to remember what the executive director was communicating. I am advised that Ms. Sautai has already shared in our station groups. We can find them, but even the other sources are here in this case. Now, I will back Jim on guiding on how the pictures are going to be taken, and thereafter, I think the director has been.
Thank you, team leader. I think you realize why it went straight to my superior and our papa. He answered and handled everything really very ably, to maybe to a level I wouldn't have. One, thank you, sir, for this. And please, with all due respect, that is why I prefer to use that way, sir. You remain the professor, sir, not the camel driver. Now, there's something I want to mention before you go, sir. From the all the other three sessions, I've not heard it here, though. They are saying, can we reduce on our, revise our checklist? Because maybe it was not done in consonance, or rather with realization of the numbers, the growing numbers in many of our education institutions. They are saying that if you are to have a checklist for, say, even just 40, somebody actually told us 30, each of those students with that kind of checklist. I came with some samples here which have 12 pages, others have 8 pages, others have 6, and those are the checklists we've drafted so far. In my wisdom, I told them we believe in continuous improvement. We are going to see how to handle and see how to handle it best for effectiveness in order to get reliable and valid results. I'll save you, unless you so wish, sir, but I'll save you for a comment on that one. But that's how I answered it. But if you'd like to say something more on that, you can say it, sir. They want us to review the checklist. They are too long, they are too detailed, too comprehensive for the numbers that we have.
Yeah, it's we value feedback from the implementers, those who are implementing the curriculum. It is absolutely useless having a tool that cannot be used effectively. So if we have suggestions in the different learning areas, how we can shorten the checklists, for example, physics or CRIE or whatever, what do we consider too much, and what can we remove without invalidating the tool itself? Yeah. So you have said it, we are for continual improvement. And ladies and gentlemen, I should tell you, UNEB is an ISO certified organization since January 2025. One of only 3 educational institutions that is ISO certified in the whole country. So one of the tenets is continual improvement, and that's what we will do. So it's something that we will have a look at.
Thank you, Edie, once again. Without spending any more time, it is heavily constrained with time. I think we shall have zones.
Yes, we have zones, but let us begin with the administrators. Take the seat.
Salai.
Another group? Zones. Zones. You guided?
I request that we move.
Let us hurry up.
Hurry up to test of time.
We're having a photo moment with the executive director. Yes. Yes. Let us move very fast. Remember, the first half is budget. Come on, move very well, move very fast.
One should sit there. That's the head teacher of Vienna High School. Thank you. Yes, our brothers, teachers. Very fast.
the last group on this call. Okay. Yes. As we move, we need everyone in these photos. Yes. Madam Samuel, go also. Hey, you crossed. Now you can take. Yes, members, let us move to the first of the RG. Yes. RG. Yes, yes, time. Thank you. Finally, the last cluster. The whole of this could come. Yes, are we set? Finally, one more. Yes, you go. We need one pick for the executives there. Alone, yes. Yes. That should be our last photo. Who? I took. Yes. Thank you very much. I think that brings the end photograph moment. Kato, come and pick the seats. Yes. Thank you very much. Team leader is accompanying our executive director. I think is leaving. Thank you very much. We wish you a safe journey back home. Short. I request the participants that we have only 1 hour to leave. I beg that we be patient. We have the last segment of today's presentation. Then after, we shall have few questions here and there, and then I will invite one of the officers to close. Then after closing, we shall go for lunch. We have prepared sumptuous lunch for you. I beg you don't leave it behind. We are gesturing. I am happy to hear that. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for what? Stay tuned for elephant. Yes, stay tuned. Meanwhile, all the approaches we are using are correct. Because stay tuned. Whatever method you are using, at the moment you are right. But stay tuned. That is very important for the head teachers to take back home. Stay tuned. I request, in the interest of time, I will beg that Mr. Senoga returns, and then we proceed. Mr. Kambo, calling shortly. We have 1 hour to leave. Should leave with the AD alone. And he comes, we proceed, and I know head teachers don't have a lot of time, and they need to go to attend other duties. We are requesting members, participants to register. We have paper that's moving around. Have you all registered? Your papers. Some members have not registered yet. Do you have your sheets that are saturating for registration? You have? Yes, Mr. They are there. I'm seeing them there. People should register. We need to pick the attendance. I have requested for Mr. Senoga to come, and we proceed. Very good. Our facilitator has returned. We are going to, Mr. Senoga, I have discussed with the participants that we can be patient. We want to break once. We can have our last presentation with you before we break for lunch. So, I beg to hand over.
Thank you, Mr. Mawanda. Ladies and gentlemen, Bishop, I want to assure you that since it is all CA route, this one will not take a long time.
Yes.
And maybe I also want to request for your kind of cooperation. Because my presentation is normally interactive. When I ask a question, don't take 10 minutes to get somebody to respond. Again, we shall be impacting on how long we shall stay here. Otherwise, I intend to spend 30 minutes only. Because it's CA still, right? Okay. This research was done by another group or team of seasoned researchers From the board again, Mary Kajokwaka and Ruth Nagire Senyonjo. As you can see, management of continuous assessment at lower secondary school level in Uganda. A cross-section study was done. We're giving the background to this research. The background is that we've already defined CA, as you can see. We've defined CA. We've mentioned on the rationale, as you can see there. However, according to revised curriculum, CA was integrated to all subjects at entry, at entry to lower secondary school, effective 2020. This shift aimed at evaluating students' levels of achievement in cognitive, psychomotor, and affective skills in a holistic and professional and innovative manner. You know, they are giving a background, the CA, why and how it came. However, effective management of CA has become a critical challenge in ensuring that the education system provides a true reflection of students' academic abilities and skills. Effective management has become a critical challenge in ensuring the education system provides a true reflection of students' academic abilities and skills. There are some researchers led by somebody called Haise in this study. The management of CA at lower secondary school level, what I mentioned was asserted by those researchers to Haise. Effective management of CA has become a critical challenge in ensuring that the education system provides a true reflection of students' academic abilities and skills. This was by Haise and others. And in this study, the management of CA at lower secondary school level in Uganda was investigated. Statement of the problem. We go to the second paragraph. CA tools have been developed. Teachers, desk officials, head teachers have been trained. Well, I put a comma there. We've just discovered that there is a bit of lapse in training. The extent of training, yes, it's not to the required standards, but some semblance of training has been made. However, despite the numerous trainings, call them interactions about CA skills remained dismal or optimal rather. Suboptimal means dismal. Further, the Continuous Assessment Report 2024, that's the last paragraph. The Continuous Assessment Report 2024 asserts that the schools at lower secondary level do not manage CA in accordance with the recommended procedures. We've just seen that. No, we are repeating ourselves, but it was another research. However, these researchers had different objectives. Let's go to the objectives from what we had previously. One was to examine the extent to which planning for continuous assessment is done at lower secondary school level. The other one is to establish how CA is monitored at lower secondary school level in Uganda, and even to establish how student CA scores are reported to stakeholders in Uganda. Okay? So, unlike in the previous one, here we are considering actually the general management of the entire process. Planning, okay? Monitoring it. After planning, you begin the implementation. How do you monitor? And then to establish how the scores are reported. That one is similar to the third objective in the previous presentation. What were the findings? Because the findings have to speak into the objectives. The findings. Let's go straight to the findings. People will have this version also. Read version at the end. Everybody will have. This time we'll have very many copies. Planning. Maybe we look at, you can close it. How do we plan for CA in our schools? The planning stage. How do we plan for it? Rather than simply listen what is being delivered, we have also to learn and share ideas. Yes, sir. Thank you. I thought you were putting up your hand. So how do we plan in our schools for CA? Planning involves what? Oh, this is good.
Thank you. The first step is to know the topic for the Kai for that term.
Okay. Any other ways of planning? As I said, every adult answer is correct. Please feel free to air out. Planning. Wow. We don't plan for a CA.
Define the learning objectives. Define the learning objectives.
Objectives in a topic. Yes, any other? But initially, what major steps we take when we are planning? I think you need a syllabus book. Good. Syllabus is one of the ways we plan. Okay? Yes, any other? What about schemes of work? What about lesson plans? Are these tools of planning to implement CA? Okay. So, planning, what were the findings? What about content framework, scoring guides, and so on? What were the discoveries? Fewer teachers reported having CKIs, 46%. Project observation checklists must be in place when we are planning. 48% on the hard subject observation checklists were 38.4. You can see. Then, however, when teachers were requested to present the documents, even fewer teachers presented the content framework. 13.6%. KIs only 23.3%. Project observation checklists 29.6%. Subject observation checklist 27%. You see that, people? So this is an eye-opener to the administrators. Some of these documents are not kept, and some of the reasons for giving is the bulkiness, that they are too bulky. But we still find ways of doing it, ladies and gentlemen. We have to find ways of doing it right. The researcher says that without these documents, teachers may face difficulty in consistently and accurately evaluating students' continuous assessment. Okay? So, I think we get what the research is saying. Many teachers, 72%, indicated that projects are allocated on the timetable. However, some head teachers and students reported that although projects are allocated on timetable, teachers do not follow the plans. Is that correct? We don't follow the plans, colleagues? That is correct. Huh? Yeah, they're on the timetable, but we don't follow the plans. So, it is changing. Would it bring positive energy if we change and follow the plan? Or is it impossible to follow? It is impossible. Madam, did you say it is impossible to follow the plan? Make sure your head teacher is not here. Schemes of work and lesson plans. Majority of the teachers indicated they prepare schemes of work. Actually, thank you so much, teachers. 95% prepare schemes of work. I do not believe this percentage of 86% prepare lesson plans. Having been a teacher myself, and still a teacher. Do we prepare lesson plans? Maybe in the new curriculum? Although senior documents are available on the UNEB portal, some schools are reluctant to print them. Is that true? The researcher says, what could be the reason? Observation checklists? Yes? The reason is what? The costs. Okay. The costs. Objective 2, how do we monitor? Just hold on. Objective 2, hold on for display. How do we monitor this CA? These are learning experiences. People have to share. My respected teachers, colleagues. How do we monitor CA, ladies and gentlemen? Monitoring.
For our case, sometimes we establish teams after the students have been, we have the CA circulating, we have the topic and whatever they're supposed to do. Sometimes for a class of over 100, you may not be in possession of the teacher. So the teacher can brief team members to help monitor. For example, those who can have a particular subject, we get some other member assistants that are trained on what they're supposed to look out for, and then we do that.
Teamwork. Any other ways of monitoring? We're sharing experiences, people. Yes.
Ibrahim Ibn Masud High School, Chile. For our case, the CA is always monitored by the Director of Studies and the deputy teacher.
The leaders monitor, but how do you handle numbers? One person monitors every student?
We allocate groups to the teachers and they hand over to groups of small numbers. Yes, please.
Thank you so much for those contributions. Let's look at the monitoring objective 2. Mr. Alta. The monitoring. According to the researcher, there is evidence of monitoring CA at lower secondary school level in Uganda. However, the officials say to monitor CA regularly were the directors of studies. Okay, that was an observation by 21.8%. Heads of departments, 16.5%. Heads of departments, a dismal percentage of 16.1%. Deputy head teachers, academics, they monitor by 16.1%. Head teachers who are monitoring are only 13.2%. So is that support? We shall look at support also. The teachers, are you supporting this program? Okay. The monitors were mainly from within the schools, as majority of the participants claimed or said they had never seen monitors from UNEB, from NCTC, and this. Is that correct? Yes. You've not seen monitors from UNEB. Okay. I'll deliver it to to our seasoned EP. I'll deliver that. So teachers they use schemes of work in the monitoring, the presence of the schemes of work. And we can see that from the results 51% say they use schemes of work, records of students' CS scores, and lesson plans. Okay, as we can see there. Challenges encountered by teachers in implementation of CA. Teachers, head teachers and key informants viewed most outstanding challenges to include the following: lack of necessary CA materials, teachers' negative attitudes, and failure to fully embrace the new curriculum. You've heard of what happened in Eswatini. Please don't have that here in Uganda. Let us look at the advantages of this program. Lack of adequate training in CS skills. Too much demand on part of teachers for different CA activities. Large classes which hampers marking and making reports on individual learners. This has been observed all through. Okay. Both teachers and head teachers are underprepared and under-resourced to effectively manage and implement CA. Is that correct? But I've been told that Makerere and other universities have begun sending the student teachers as attachment to the respective schools to learn about CA. Is that, have you known about that? So after this dissemination and sharing of experiences, don't inform this statement, which says that even you teachers, and including maybe myself and head teachers, we are unprepared, we are under-resourced, yet we are attaching students from Makerere to come and learn from us. Please let us show them we know by being vigilant. Objective 3, findings. Objective 3, tools used for recording CS scores. There is this statement here. There is no uniform tool for recording CS scores. Is it correct? Is there no uniform tool? Doesn't UNEB send some guidelines on that? Yeah, so I think there is a tool. The support includes provision of teachers and teachers' CA materials. Sorry. Several tools are used, but most common are mark sheets, computers, learners' scripts, report cards, and school CA books. What is your comment about that? Is that correct? This highlights the need for schools to provide teachers with continuous training on record-keeping skills. I think we variously mentioned that. Learners' CS scores are given to the learners as a way of feedback. The directors of studies, examination masters, heads of department, deputy head teachers, academics, and head teachers and parents should get this feedback accordingly. Action taken by stakeholders. Identify areas where students are weak, prepare remedial lessons, track students' performance, design appropriate learning and assessment tools, guide and counsel students, provide materials for CA. Students should work hard to improve their performance. That is, some of them are real obvious. Conclusion. So we've realized that some planning for continuous assessment is done in lower secondary schools. However, it is inadequate. Do we accept all that? We've seen that much as many of us do schemes of work, for example, but very few do lesson plans. Most teachers only use CPC curricula. Few teachers prepare and use content frameworks, CA items, and observation checklists. Many teachers, by the way, let us pay attention in the preparation of these KIs. What should we follow? Tertiary experiences, KIs, CA items. What should we follow, ladies and gentlemen? What should be the guiding principles?
I think one of them, learning domain.
Learning domain?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Because the continuous assessment items, the domains, we have the psychomotor and affective. So we should follow one of them.
No? Anybody can suggest? What should we emphasize? Cognitive or psychomotor and affective? What is your proposal? Mr. Karim. Yes, I think psychomotor, especially some subjects like sciences, you can get a lot from students from psychomotor approach than linear, cognitive, or even affirmative. Though I'm not saying that they're not important, but I'm saying that what will be better. Thank you so much. Mr. Bogere has been very active. Thank you so much, Mr. Bogere. And the real objective of this CA is to make sure that somebody can do something with their hands, isn't it? But of course, you can't do something without the brain. That's where the cognitive comes in, psychomotor. So, we should emphasize the psychomotor items, isn't it? They should be task what? Oriented. Conclusion. I think we're doing conclusion. Most teachers only use, rather going through that. Many teachers were not yet sure of how to plan for CA, but we have discussed that here. So now we can have something on how to plan for CA. Let us not implement CA without planning for it. We shall not achieve the objectives of this program. Monitoring, we've also gone through how this one is monitored in many of the schools. We've discovered that the leaders, the respective leaders in schools play a very big role, but we've also discovered that we can involve colleagues, we can involve teams. UNEB is yet to produce some formal or NCDC monitoring mechanisms, but an effort is being geared towards that. Reporting of continuous assessment to stakeholders. We've agreed that UNEB has some tool on how we can report these CS scores. If you are lacking it, now those who have not clapped, when you are head teacher, so they won't clap for you. And you'll feel. I want to thank the head teachers, led by Father here, present, and others. Please thank you for coming, because you are hearing some of these points. Take a personal initiative to invite people to come and train your staff of CA and other aspects of CBC. Okay? Take a personal in this case, or a school initiative, to invite NCDC officials to come and train your people. The ED has just stamped on that one. Okay? They are encouraging it. And our gates are open anytime. Please walk in. The research and innovation, and development section is in Chambogo, now. But you can also visit the CA section, which is also in Chambogo. Actually, it would be better to go straight to the CA. However, the focal point of that program is some gentleman called Mr. Miti Matthias. He's in the research and development section in Chambogo under research. He can organize some trainings privately in form of consultation. Of course, there will be something paid. And please, when you're coming to UNEB, this is just a tip, don't forget your national ID. Otherwise, you'll have issues with security at the gate. Many people have had issues because they did not carry their national ID. Support and encourage teacher training in CA skills. This is school administrators. Provide CA materials and resources. It's also very, very important. Yesterday, we had a proposal from one of the participants, how we can handle the numbers. He was saying you can print out, the ED did not have enough time for us. But he proposed that many people liked it, how you can handle numbers. He said, I can print out one observation checklist and use big sheets to assess all the candidates using that observation checklist. That's what we're saying, because the parameters are the same for every student, not so? So many people bought it, it can maybe cut down the costs that are expected. And even the back, because if you use a sheet, you can use a sheet, list the students, and then the parameters, and then you award marks. That's what he was proposing. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much. We've been together since morning. Thank you so much for honoring the UNEB invitation. As I mentioned, I upload this station in a special way. I upload the station in a special way because I've had the greatest response to our invitation. Thank you so much for your kind attention, for your kindness, for your cooperation. I sit in Intinda, room 55, and feel free to come and seek assistance besides financial on any, because I may not be able to handle that. But on any other, please feel free to come and interact on any issues to do with UNEB. There is somebody I met in Kabalagala station, actually my former student. He said suffered with wanted verification, I think, of results. And he sat almost the whole day, and yet I was there. I said, I think you deserve it because you did not even have the courtesy of saying hello to your former teacher. So, please feel free. I said to room 55, you can come and we interact and chat and seek assistance in your form. I thank you once again and wish you all the best. And please have blessed holidays. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Senoga, Stephen. Can we once again appreciate our facilitator? Thank you, Mr. Senoga, for that service. I think the head teachers are not going to remain the same. Issues to do with the CA and the supervision of the continuous assessment, you are now okay. Now, this was the last presentation. I will invite some few questions also from what he has presented. You can have some questions, you can have some supplements, you can have proposals for them to take before I close this part of the presentation. And it was still about the CA continuous assessment. Is there any question that remained from the previous or from the current, or we exhausted? Are we okay now, teachers? Thank you very much. Now there are no questions. We give him one more. Yes, there's
under the handicap.
No, there is one. Let us listen to it.
Thank you. I'm going to be very brief. Lumba Ahmed Dr. once again. At the very point he ended with, that using a big sheet may be a tool to print on the checklists, and then you assess the entire class. Now, when it comes to evidence, when they come to inspect, that you assess the individual learners when you use the big sheet, how will I handle the inspectors? Hope I'm clear. The last point you made.
Some clarity on the last point. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Senoga. Mine is just a suggestion that can we at least have CA guiding booklets for the teachers that speak to the various CA checklists. That is for further guidance. Then the other one is how I wish we can also have some or institute regional and national project exhibition programs or platforms so these projects can come on board. Then could we have a platform?
Just repeat that one, regional and what?
Regional and national project exhibition platforms so that these projects not only stop in our schools or local communities. Then could we have a platform for teachers and schools to share success stories? Because many times we so much focus on what is not going right, and we're also suffering in our local schools, yet we could also share these experiences and be well guided. Then the second last is on the, I think to Mr. Kaboro, that you could also do a research to find out how the learners of last year are faring in S5. More so those who had A's coming to the science subjects. And the very last one, we could take interest in the fact that we are at the age of an industrial revolution as far as artificial intelligence is concerned. And I think the idea we pick this up as institutions of learning, the better. Thank you so much.
Your name once again?
Jerome Kaiwe, St. Joseph is yes.
Thank you very much. Head teacher. Head teacher.
Not yet a head teacher, but in charge of CA. Thank you.
He's in charge of CA in his school. St. something?
St. Joseph is SS in Zambia.
Zambia, yeah. Brilliant ideas. He has proposals to UNEB and the government at large. I think we.
Then he had the question.
Yes, he had a question, and yes, you recorded it first. Yes, it's about the. Yes, sir.
Please, Mr.
Yes, thank you so much.
Questionnaires and questionnaires, basically. That is this one has received.
Dear MC, this is quite out of the CA discussion, but if I have an opportunity to air out a complaint, I often wish to. This goes to the officials at UNEB. I appreciate UNEB for the excellent services, and over time, I've not been troubled. Even after the registration and whatever was heading around, I want to applaud our area supervisor for wholly giving us the support that we needed during that crisis. But I have a challenge with the people who work at the primary section, room 21 and 22. I don't know whether I'm just standing up, but those are the, I don't know how best I can describe their services, but those people are not to me. They have not been good to me. I don't know if it cuts across to the rest. We go there for amendments. People are rude, you know. But same service, you go to secondary, people are very polite, people are very quick. You go to primary, I think people want us they want us to carry an altar to God praise them. You know, I know this will reach there. I'm talking about room 21 and room 22. At least for one time you go there, maybe someone had a bad mood, but you go there the second time, the third time, and someone has a similar mood, poor reception.
the concept of mood swings. The mood swings. Unfortunately, whenever you go there, the modes are the other side. But the area supervisor has taken note. Room 20, 21 and room 22 that handles the primary section complaints.
Thank you so much. My name is Nalo Simon, head of Teacher Central College. One, I would like to agree with him. It also happened to me last year when I was amending for my student. When I was amending for my student, was a male student, and during the PLOE, the person was reading female. So I went there also, but the way they handled me was not good. Secondly, since last year when we amended the person for a student, up to now, we have never got a copy. Whenever I go there, they say, I will receive the message. Now so far, a year. And the other one's the person, what can we do?
The same complaint, but this one was emphasizing, was clarifying on the weakness of those officers. Any other? The teachers, are we done with questions? Emerging complaints? Okay. Again, the officer? 1 point?
We are here to learn members. Just a proposal. In the research, you presented something on standardization. My appeal is that can we have a CA management framework proposed to the schools so that yes, we can add in ours as local schools, but we have a general picture on how to handle each and every aspect of CA. It's just a proposal.
Yes, a proposal. Now let me go back to the facilitator for clarification, and yes, we shall begin from there.
I'll begin with the last one, and I'll be very brief. We already beginning on that framework, only that it's informal. When we send you guidelines on scoring, we are already trying to standardize, because it's sent all over the country. When we suggest ways of monitoring pamphlets, a booklet, which encompasses all those activities. Okay. We, as he said, we believe in continuous improvement, and we take it kindly, and want to thank you for noting all those. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for all those observations. You are not isolated, sir, and the gentleman there about our errand staff. It was mentioned very prominently in Kabalagala station, very, very prominently. Somebody said, all along, I've been talking while sitting on this point, let me stand up. And he stood up. And he said, I really get annoyed. This time, I'm annoyed. So, he was airing that point. Okay? So, we are not denying that we are different. The general principle in UNEB is for us to be customer-oriented. I noted a little when our Fountain of Honor, the ED, mentioned that we are ISO certified. There were not very many pool clubs. And the second, I thought maybe people don't understand what being ISO certified is. But on careful meditation, I thought maybe people don't believe that statement. And it comes from such observations. Because when you are ISO, you are actually, the best principle is to be customer-oriented. We must be, but the general principle as a board, we are supposed, and he always talks about it, by the way, the ED. Our ED, you can walk in anytime and see him during working hours. And if you would like to see the ED and no other person, you can come to my room. I've told you about mine. And then I'll make arrangements for you to meet him. That is what they call customer. You're a human being, you are the accounting officer, so anybody should be able to come and air out their views. So, for him, it's very customer-oriented, as you heard him talk. But it's very unfortunate that some of our people behave the way they do. Okay? Please forgive, I apologize on behalf of the board for that kind of behavior, but we are saying they need retooling. Okay. Yes, we shall continue to do that. We have done it before. There has been workshops towards that area, but some people don't take messages that easily. Okay? Very sorry about that. We're going to take it up. I happen to belong to administration myself, so I definitely I'll take up that one. I'll take up because, of course, you have not agreed with the people in Kabalagala station. You may not even know that, but they are airing the same thing. Maybe some other people even fell short of mentioning the same for fear of repeating ourselves. But we apologize and we are going to follow that up. Fortunately, you have cleared us that most of the people you have met are okay. So those are isolated cases and we're going to handle them. Right? Yes. But there are many polite ladies. You go to room more. Let me show you. Just can test one of the ladies I know in UNEB. Very polite. And we can call her Mama Piero. The lady in room 43, the head, not the secretary. You never know the moods you find with her secretary, but the very person who is in charge of Piero, she's called Madame Rose Mukasa. You just go and test her. Is one person I've seen who always have constant temperaments. Scouting is a very, very repressive and very, stressful exercise. But you never hear her shouting at anyone. So it's not good to blanket ladies. Many ladies are very polite and very motherly. They are there. The males are there. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
The message is taken, teachers and head teachers. The message is taken. The officer has promised to take back the board for yes, Mr. Sanoga. His question is not answered. Do you remember the question?
You talk of 5 feet. I have to give it. You are the host. Anyway, that one, you talked about using a big sheet.
Using a big sheet to assess learners, a general one. I didn't say this one is official. And like I mentioned before, I'm not the official spokesperson on the board. But when the ED is there, for him it's allowed. And by the way, what he says is almost policy. That's clear. What he says is fine almost as ED. They are accountable for something. So I only shared an experience on how one can surmount the problems of what? Rather than forge scores because of the numbers. That is what that person said in their school, that's how they do it. So it's sharing experience. However, you can do it, me I'm just proposing, if you do it like that first, you can now get a group of people to simply copy those scores exactly how it should be. It's a food for thought. It's just a proposal. That's how they do it in their school. That's not official. Right? So you either take it or leave it.
Okay, that's soft copy forms online.
Okay, that's a good proposal. We can take it up.
He's going to record that one. He's going to take it to the
Somebody mentioned it earlier online.
to his superiors for discussion. Now, thank you very much, Mr. Sanoga, and that brings us to the end of the session. Now, I am not the one who invited this workshop. You have been mobilized and invited by the area supervisor. I will kindly invite our boss to give the closing remarks and officially closes the session. I don't know whether the thing is working. So, you're welcome.
Our dear presenter, Mr. Stephen Sernoga, Principal Administrative Officer, back at home there, the administrators present, and the dear participants. I want to thank you so much from this common phrase from the bottom of my heart. I've always wondered where that bottom is. But I want to thank you sincerely, first of all, for accepting to come, to be here almost whole day, and also for being very attentive and very active in your discussions. It has been very, very interesting. For all the time that I've been in UNEB, I've never sat to listen to somebody else presenting a research I've done. Mr. Senator, you've done it well. And this time I deliberately said, no, I'm not going to present. I want to listen and see what another person is saying about what I researched. One of us is saying I should embark on another research. Yeah, it's a good idea. Maybe I can sell it to my former colleagues. Much as I know, once a researcher, always a researcher. I'm doing the researches now elsewhere, but not in UNEB. Unless I'm called upon in the consultancy division, there I can go and do it. Unfortunately, I will not do that now for UNEB, but it's a good suggestion. These two researches were deliberately chosen to be disseminated because they concern a very, very important subject, which we know is now contemporary and disturbing the minds of many teachers. And the way these researches were organized, one on IPS and the other on management of coursework under the new curriculum. Whereas IPS Art and Craft is from the old curriculum, we deliberately wanted to see how CA was being managed in this subject, which had been there for some time, since 2016. Now that we are going to take on all the subjects to handle CA, what about this subject where CA has been there? Are there lessons that we could learn and possibly help us to shape the way we run CA in the other subjects? That was the whole essence. Because this data was collected in 2023 when the new curriculum was already being implemented. We deliberately went for the old curriculum. It was too early to evaluate the new curriculum at that time because so many things were still in the forming. So there was nothing to evaluate. But it was possible to evaluate CA in a subject that had been in existence. And those were the what? The findings. What we found now can be used to address the issues which are coming up, according to the second research that was presented in my absence, but I know what is contained in that research. So that was the whole essence here. I believe what you have listened to might have touched your hearts. Where we have not been doing well, we shall go back and improve. You have made suggestions which were very good ones. I'm sure the board is going to take them up to see how better we could do what we are doing. For those who complained about our colleagues in room 21 and 22, actually, you have not sent, but you have reached. He is the principal administrative officer, the person in charge of the human resource. So, I don't know, these people might lose their jobs, but yeah, but what I'm saying, something is going to be done. He is the right person to listen to that. Now we are preparing for examinations. I want to apologize. There is a communication I should have made on our platform. Actually, I forgot. As you are already aware, I was busy trying to graze my goats. That's where I was pulled from. I should have remembered that all of you who have already nominated invigilators should have brought your nominations today. And that would have eased our work. Actually, this morning I regretted why we didn't do that. It should have been very, very good. But for some of you who have them now, you could give them to me, if you have them. Some of you have been asking for the template, maybe new head teachers, but the head teachers we have been having around, you know what we need. Even without the form, you can still recommend the people as long as you give us qualified teachers who are teaching in your school as full-time. If you are sharing the teacher, then there must be agreement where this teacher is going to be recommended. We don't want teachers who are recommended in more than one school. So it means you must provide evidence that this person is registered. Give us registration number, give us his contact, give us the subjects he or she teaches. Then, if he's teaching in another school within our stations, indicate he's my teacher in St. Joseph's, but he also part-times in Iden or St. Peter's, such that when we are posting, we should not take this person to such a school for fear of conflict of interest. So please do that. If you have the information here, you can give it to me. But if you don't have it, let me request that you take your nominations to the reception at Intinda. Put them in an envelope, put it in an envelope, addressed to the area supervisor, Katwe 208. Just leave it there. We shall pick it from there. Otherwise, I want to thank you so much. I'm enjoying my retirement. Well, I can advertise here now. I'm a goat breeder. Yes, if you want hybrid goats, I have them. Boer goats and Savannah goats at a good price. Some of you might want to start now. Yes. But no, they are not very expensive. A 6 months goat is around 500 only. But it can go up to 2-3 million if it is mature. The only piece of advice that I can give, you might have not got this kind of advice. For us, we are into retirement. but all of you are already retired. You should be aware of that. You should look at yourselves as retired, meaning that every day work for retirement. Otherwise, you'll be shocked when you get to the age of retirement and you die of stress. If you don't want to be stressed, the moment you enter employment, start retiring. And you retire by preparing for it. That's the only advice I can give. Otherwise, I want to thank Mr. Senoga for taking us through these presentations. I want to thank very much the staff and administration of Kitebi Secondary School. You have really made something very different. You know, when I was told that the ED was coming to attend with us, I said, now, how is it going to look like? But when I called the head teacher, the team leader, he said, oh, just leave it to me. And he has done it. You know, he was saying, well, you know, there's this, how do you call it? Humility. Humility, he has thanked us. He was thanking the ED. But I know how much the school has put in. It has put in a lot. So they really deserve a very big hand. Although the MC has not mentioned, here on the program, there is lunch. For some of you who came earlier, you enjoyed milk and what as breakfast. But the cost of coming late, some of you missed that. Nevertheless, you not miss the lunch. So, at this juncture, I want now to weigh another quote, very big one. I don't know whether it will not be too hot for me, but since the function is easy, is only to declare this dissemination workshop closed.
Thank you, our area supervisor, Mr. Kaguru Thomas. Another round of applause. Now that the officer has closed the function, we have only one item remaining to have our lunch. So I already communicated. Yeah, you know, if we have prepared, UNEB has prepared sumptuous lunch for you, and it is there. Therefore, I'll request one participant to give us the closing prayer and pray for the food. Then I will tell you where the venue for the food. Hey, you have the yes, you have the Father. Yes, yes. Pray, pray for food and pray for the
Yes, before the Father gives us the prayer.
Yes,
you have requested for these presentations. I'm going to forward them on our group for you who are on the platform. Who are not, you will forward it to your friends. Yeah, even the full reports are available. Mine is available, but the one for my colleagues may not be available and may not send it without their permission. Yes, but I can send mine. I'll put it on the WhatsApp.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming, and we wish you a safe journey back home. We are going for lunch, but we shall be departing at will. Am I clear? Thank you. Let us have that prayer.
May we rise from
God our Father, I want to thank you for the beautiful session we've just had. We prayed for nice deliberations. You have accorded us. We prayed for a certain moment. Sure, it has been one, and we are grateful. We now ask you to bless this institution that hosted us. Bless the presenters of today, especially Stephen, the executive director, the area supervisor, the administrators in the house, that as we march out after our stay in this place, we go out to implement what has been given to us today. Father, we he already thank you and ask for journey mercies. But before that all, bless the meal that we are to have. Bless us, O Lord, and these are gifts which we are about to receive from your bounty through Christ our Lord. The Lord be with you. The mighty God bless you all, the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. A blessed afternoon.
Praise God. Thank you very much for that wonderful prayer. Now we can go for our lunch. We are going to have lunch. We have the tent outside there, and let us go there and be served. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Come on.
Seka.
Seven.
Hey.